Good morning, everyone. Get the little video going here. Okay, so here we are, and it's Wednesday, and we're going to do a few things here that are really fun, kind of a combination of a couple things, and yes, we need water. I have so many things here ready for you guys that it's a little hard to find them all. Anyways, okay, so we're going to do two things. We're going to do bok choy. We're going to make a beautiful bok choy soup as well as a salad, and I just have gathered so many fantastic ingredients here that I have stuff everywhere. So we're going to start with a couple things. Okay, let's start with the onion. We're going to set these guys in here. Of course, all the vegetables have been washed, and it's a really good idea to always wash your vegetables as soon as you bring them home, so that they're ready to go. So it makes it so much easier to, just grab something out of the fridge and know that it's clean and washed and ready to eat, and you can just take it right out of the fridge and just start eating it raw if you want, or put it into whatever it is that you're making. So I'm just going to peel these onion guys, and sometimes sometimes you just have to take the bottom off. I don't know why I hesitate to. It's funny because I tend to definitely not like routine, and so I don't often do the same thing the same way twice. I seem to have some kind of problem with that. Oh my gosh. Anyways, yes, I am saving my onion roots to put in the garden, and believe it or not, if they're in a protected place, they'll grow. And actually, you can put them in a little dish with a teeny bit of water on your windowsill, and they'll grow too. So it's kind of cool to regrow your onions. Hey, good morning, Minik. It's nice to see you here. Get the little onion skins off here. So we're going to get these guys going first. As we usually do, a lot of the recipes that I make starts with sauteing onions because they're just so good for you. They're anti-inflammatory and antihistamine, and they have so many fantastic properties. Yeah, really good for the immune system and super awesome. Okay, so that's probably all I want to use for that particular thing. So we're gonna get these guys in here and do a soup, and of course everything is clean. It's a really good idea to just make sure that all your onions are clean. And speaking of that, speaking of onions, it took my mind to potatoes. Why, I have no idea. But anyways, for the local people that are on here right now, Quality Foods has organic potatoes on sale for 5 pounds for $6.99. That is a really good deal. Okay, so, and they have these beets too, the beautiful beets. Same thing, these are kind of like the rainbow-ish colored beets. They're supposed to be heirlooms, so I'm not entirely sure if they're organic, but I think that they probably are. And they're $1.29 a pound, which is super awesome. So I bought a bunch of beets. So what we're going to do, we're going to work with the celery next, and the celery is actually, they have organic celery on sale too. They're Quality Foods. I can't remember how much, but it was a good price. So so the celery is really, really good for arthritis. Like celery, I just can't say enough about organic celery juice for arthritis. If you can juice celery, it is so good for any kind of pain, inflammation in the joints, and yes, so good in this kind of weather. I know, I have a hard time with fall, and that they're going to throw us back into darkness this fall is just very disappointing to me. I heard that they were you know, they weren't going to do the time change this year or anymore, but apparently that didn't go through, and so they are going to throw us into the darkness. I think it's this weekend? Next weekend, I can't remember. I'm trying to not remember it all. I'm in denial. I just hate that, because I hate it when it gets dark at, like, you know, in the deep winter, it gets dark like 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's especially when we live in such a gray environment, you know, in the winter, like it gets pretty gray around here, you know, because of the rain and everything. But anyways, on to sunnier subjects. So yes, all these beautiful vegetables were on sale at Quality Foods, and so the next thing that I want to do, I'm just going to get those guys to come down. I am going to put in some fresh carrots, and then I want to show you something. I don't know if you want to see it. I'm just going to have to grab it because I just forgot where it is. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I have so many little ingredients here. Okay, we're going to throw this carrot in, this fresh carrot, and then we're going to, I'm going to cut it in half. Always be careful. Don't try this at home unless you're experienced, and I'm not. I'm not an experienced or professional cook at all. I am a certified herbalist, natural health consultant, and I just am sharing how I make healthy foods. For the most part, they're pretty healthy. Okay, so I am going to put these fresh carrots in, and then I want to see something and show you something at the same time. So in these days of food uncertainty, and I don't know what's going on. I just can't even begin to figure that out. But anyways, what I've been doing this summer is dehydrating all kinds of different things, foods, and these are dehydrated carrots. And so I have not done this before. I've dehydrated a lot of stuff in the past, you know, I mean, obviously lots of fruit and things like that, but I haven't done carrots before. So I want to see the difference. Okay, let's throw these in and let's see how they rehydrate. That's my experiment for today. So if you can see, I'm going to put them in the water and see. So I dehydrated a lot of vegetables this year to see how it would work, and also because I don't have a lot of freezer space, and I wanted to, I did grow a lot of carrots this year. I'm going to put a few more in. I grew a lot of carrots this year. I'm so happy for the garden. And last year, there's always something, right? There's always something. Last year, I was able to leave the carrots in all winter, and they were fantastic. I was digging them out like in the spring. They were still really, really good. They weren't soggy or anything. You know, they weren't rotten. They were like beautiful. But now it seems we have some kind of little animal out there that is eating the tops of my carrots. So the tops of the carrots are like eaten, like the orange part. So they're all eaten around the bottom, around the top. So I'm gonna try and cover them up. I mean, I don't mind feeding a few little animals, but it's like he's gone along and picked every single carrot and eaten the top off of it, and so that's not good. So I'm like, what do I do with all these carrots? Because I'm not canning. Speaking of canning, oh my God, you guys, when I went to the grocery store, they said, because I bought a whole pile of beets, they said, are you canning these beets? And I said, no, I'm not. I already did a bunch of canning this year. And they said there's a worldwide shortage of canning jars and lids until the expected date is March. So I'm like, oh my God, like what? I'm really glad that everybody's getting into homesteading and canning and all that kind of stuff, but it's pretty crazy, really, that you know, we're having another lack of, you know, something essential, that really there should be enough to go around. Anyways, yeah, so if I can't can my carrots. I mean, I could, but wasting the jars and the lids on something like carrots when you can dehydrate. And I also don't want to really freeze because I only have one freezer, so I don't have a lot of freezer space. And so I have been encouraging people through this whole last 6 months to, buy rice and beans and dry goods and things that you can store and dehydrate, and make sure that you have the things that make you comfortable on hand. Like I have one girlfriend, and she couldn't, when this whole thing started in March, she couldn't even find popcorn. And that's really sad. So if you have a favorite food, you need to get some. And, don't go hoarding or anything. But when you go to the grocery store and you buy something, buy two of whatever that is, just so that, shop for more than 1 week. Oh my God, really, you need to have at least, at minimum, 2 weeks groceries in the house at all times. I mean, as best you can. And if you start buying bulk foods like rice and beans and dry goods and cheaper things like cabbages that really go a long way, beets go a long way, carrots are usually pretty cheap. So, it's not that hard to do. And of course, I don't buy meat or anything, which saves a lot of money so that I can spend it on vegetables. So anyways, okay, so this is interesting, isn't it? Look at the carrots. I want to really see. I might have to put some more water just to see, but I do want those onions to saute. So this is simply water in here. There's no oil, no fat or anything like that. And I'm just kind of talking while I cut up this tomato. These are these funny little, I don't know what they're called. They're like little brown tomatoes. And they're heirloom organic something or other. And I grew these, and they, I couldn't figure out, we made salsa yesterday. And I couldn't figure out, I was processing this salsa in the little hand processor. And it was just like mushing, but it wouldn't chop into salsa like bits. And I was like, what is going on? And I had to keep adding the peppers and having something firmer for the blades to grab, because it just wasn't working like it normally does with regular tomatoes that I usually use. So these guys here, what I figured out is they're very mealy, thick. They're like tomato paste in a fresh tomato. So they're good for thickening. And I don't know what they're called, maybe you guys do, but very interesting meat. It's very dense and thick and interesting. So I don't want to add that yet because I want to see what's going on here, but what I can do is I can add some garlic while we're waiting. I might as well add a little bit of ginger as well. So every soup is really good with ginger, and we're going to do a couple different things here with the bok choy. And so we'll get the beautiful garlic fresh from the garden in here. That's going to start to smell really fabulous. So yeah, so it's kind of interesting, the carrots, what they're doing. And I'm just trying to feel if they're getting soft. It's funny. Anyways, yeah, so that's my experiment with that. Okay, on to the next thing here. Okay, we're going to add, I might as well add some of the bok choy. We're going to use these ends of the bok choy and put this in for our vegetable. You can use whatever you want. The reason I'm working with bok choy this morning is because people have asked me what to use for a salad in the winter when everything is so expensive. And you want to get your deep leafy greens. And then they had, they have these, quite often they'll have the recalls on like spinach, remember they had that E. coli thing and that kind of thing. So, I mean, I'm lucky that I have collards in the garden and kale and stuff for, for winter greens. But if you can get bok choy and buy it instead of lettuce, which is better for you. Any dark, deep leafy green is better for you than, certainly has more nutrition than iceberg lettuce, and even more than romaine. Throwing lettuce into my sage tea. The lettuce just went in there. Sage tea, good for the immune system, good for the respiratory, antiviral. Just put a piece of sage in there. This is beautiful Okanagan sage from a friend of mine who sends it to me. I'm so grateful. Hey, Kate, good morning. Okay, so we're using the bok choy here. And yeah, so bok choy is a great thing to add to your salads and use in place of lettuce. Much healthier choice. Cheaper than a lot of things in the winter. You know, this winter, who knows, you know, about the produce and stuff, how that's going to come along. There's been lots of speculation, let's say, as to what's going to happen as far as food and stuff like that. So yeah, so use your bok choy, and it has a really nice consistency. I'm just using the whites in here, the stems in here for the soup, but you can put these in the salad as well. So we're just going to save these because we're going to do a beautiful salad in a minute, and but right now we're just going to get this going down here. The other thing I wanted to talk about, did you see, I don't know, I'm mixing them all up now, but anyway, did you see the dehydrated carrots are funny little wrinkly things, kind of like me. Oh God, I'm getting to be an even funnier wrinkly thing by the day. What are you going to do? Anyway, it's all about how you feel, not how you look. That's my motto lately. As long as you feel good, it doesn't matter how you look. Okay, so I am going to add some mushrooms to it. I have the oyster mushrooms, which I dehydrated. I pulled out a little tiny microscopic one. The oyster mushrooms, which we collected this summer, which were super awesome. They are really, really good for the body. They are, they detoxify, and they help to clear out toxins and chemicals from the body. Really good for your immune system. They have all kinds of nutritional benefits. They're just like simply amazing, the oyster mushrooms. So I'm going to also add some maitake, M-A-I-T-A-K-E. And these guys are really good because they're like for your immune system, and they're very anti-cancer. You know, they're really good for cancer, for overall working with your liver. They're good for cholesterol. They balance your blood sugar. They've also been used in a lot of research for like anti-tumor, inhibits the tumor creating cells or something. I don't know, you have to look it up, but it's being used. The maitake's also been used, oops, that one's on the floor. I can't remember. Helps with the immune function. They've been researching it, helping with the immune function for if you're going through chemotherapy, because that's how well it works with helping the immune system. So that's the maitake. And then I have these lobster mushrooms. Oh my God, you guys, this year is a year for lobster mushrooms. And so the lobster mushrooms look like lobster claws or shells or whatever. And so I dehydrated those as well. I did this myself, dehydrated them, and you can hardly see, but they've got the red. You can look it up, Google it, lobster mushrooms. And honestly, to be honest with you, they're so new to me. I didn't know about them before this summer, because they're so abundant. I have not a clue what they're for. Not yet. I haven't researched it yet, so you guys might want to check that out because they're super awesome. So we're going to add, this is going to turn into a immune boosting soup with the bok choy, and we'll get this coming down here. The other thing we're going to add is the seaweed. This one's a wakame, the little tiny seaweeds. And seaweed's so good for you. It adds so many trace minerals. It is absolutely vital for the thyroid. Helps your thyroid, helps with balancing it, you know, so if it's over or under, especially if it's under, the most common thing is underactive thyroid, and so it has the natural source of iodine that helps to, this is kombu seaweed, natural source of iodine that helps to regulate and feed, and it just makes the thyroid healthy. Like it just works with the cells to keep it at its optimal functioning level. And of course, you guys know, I've said this a bunch of times, that they've used the seaweed for reversing the effects of radiation extensively in places where there's been nuclear issues going on. They've used the seaweed to, to reverse the radiation from the body and everything. And actually they've used it environmentally as well, the seaweed, for like almost filtering out the radiation. It's like it transmutes it or something. So that's super awesome. The other seaweed we have here is the dulse, which is super yummy as well. And I should really put this in a jar. This is the little purple seaweed, and it's so nice. It's not as much of a seaweed flavor, but it adds a nice salt to it. And, like it's just, they sell it in little hunks where you can eat it almost like potato chips. So it's really good. The dulse is super good. Okay, so these guys are coming down. I'm just keeping an eye on the dehydrated carrots. They're starting to look a little bit like a normal carrot. But I'm sure they're going to taste fantastic, because when you dehydrate, it intensifies the flavor. So they'll probably be much sweeter than the other carrots. And maybe I should try one now just to see before I add any liquid to it. So we'll just pick one out here. I'm trying to get the flavor without any of the seasonings, so I haven't done too much other than seaweed. It's got a very interesting texture, chewy, and it has the carrot flavor. Of course, it's a carrot, but it's kind of intense, like intensified. That's good. I don't know. It's different a little bit, but it still has all of the nutrition of the carrots. It has the beta carotene, good for the eyes, all that stuff, and concentrated because it's been dehydrated, so it's good for you. Okay, so it's chewy. Chewy. Okay, I'm going to add water to this because it's starting to get where I don't want it too overcooked. So I will add some water, and then we are going to, we're going to turn it down. Because I do want the carrots cooked, I want the onions cooked, but the other vegetables I can have, you want to have them a little bit raw if you can, because it just makes it way more healthy. Okay, so I'm going to add a little of this tomato, but I'm also going to, no, I'm not. I was going to say I'm going to add it to salad, but I'm not. You may notice that if you look at my Instagram, which there are hundreds and hundreds of pictures of food that I've made, and my YouTube has, I don't know, about 300 videos of food I made. But if you look at the pictures, you will notice that almost none of my salads have tomatoes in them, because my husband doesn't like tomatoes in the salad. So yeah, so I was like, I'm going to add this to salad. No, I'm not. So I eat them separate, and that's okay. He doesn't mind them cooked though, so that's good. Yeah, so anyway, just so that you know. So I'm going to put those guys in there. They have, like I said, this particular variety, I don't know what it is. I might as well put this piece in too. But it has, whoops, somebody said I need my knives sharpened. I guess so. That's the nice thing about the comments. You guys are helping me out here. I didn't even notice that my knives were dull. Okay, and I do have a knife sharpener. I'll use it one day. Okay, so we're adding this. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you guys, super awesome. Get a little cloth here happening. I'm going to add another immune enhancing thing. Okay, I'm just looking around here because I'm afraid I'm going to forget something. Every once in a while I do this video and then I completely forget some of the things because I have so many things here on the table. I'm going to add black beans. So we're going to add some black beans to this. These are black beans, full of fiber and protein, obviously. And I don't want to, do I want to put that whole thing in there? I don't know. Let's see. Let's have a look and see. We do everything by feel around here. Oh, look, that's pretty. Yeah, I think I will. So, yeah, so I made these and I rinsed them. So you soak them, any kind of beans. It's important to soak and rinse at least 2 or 3 times to get the lectins out. And the lectins are what cause the gas and bloating and everything that, you know, everyone knows is associated with beans. And so when you soak and rinse, and then I put them in the Instant Pot and I cook them and then rinse them again. So I think that one of the things that I've discovered is that if you rinse after you cook the beans, then you're getting rid of more lectins. And so you don't have that feeling of discomfort or anything from eating the beans from the lectins. So just so that you can give that a try, right? I know a lot of people want to cook the beans. And we always did. It's how I grew up, you know, we cook the beans and they're simmering all day long in the pot, and that's how you make like a big, beautiful baked bean thing. But if you want to cook them and then rinse them and then add fresh water and then simmer them all day long so that you get that thick, you know, almost gravy-like consistency of your beans, you'll probably find, I find at least, that you don't have any of that beany discomfort. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys is these guys here, and I have such a pile of stuff. I have such a pile of stuff. There's just not enough room for everything. This is snow fungus. That distracted me because I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do with the next thing I'm going to make, because my utensil's on the floor. But that's okay. It's all good. Things happen. That's what happens on Facebook Live. You just wing it and go with it. Anyway, back to the snow fungus. This is also called a white fungus. It's very, very well known and used in Chinese medicine, and you put it in soups, and it's like super awesome. It's been called throughout the years lung fungus because it's really good for the respiratory system. It's really good for coughs. It's really good for oh my gosh, for the immune system. It's been claimed as like again, like an immune system stimulator, like an anti-cancer, you know, cancer fighter. And what's really cool is, I'm just finishing the last of that carrot. I can feel it tickling my throat. Is that when you put these in soup, you just break them up and you put them in the soup or whatever. But I usually use them in soup, and you just break the little pieces off. They grow on trees. It's like a sort of kind of like a mushroom. I don't know if they grow here in the Northwest. I'm not really sure. But anyways, what's really cool about these things is when they are in the liquid, when they get wet, I'm making them really small. I don't want big chunks because they'll turn into, and I don't know if we'll be online long enough for you to see it, but they turn into a very chewy, what can I compare them to? Have you guys had bean noodles before? Bean noodles are kind of like a little bit rubbery and a little bit stretchy, and that's kind of what it's like, or like a, oh gosh, what can I compare it to? But they have it's a really nice, it's like a noodle, but the noodle doesn't fall apart. So yeah, so that's what it's like. It's like when you chew into it, it's like you're getting a really nice textured noodle that isn't just disappearing in your soup, and it's a really beautiful texture. So if you, you know, you can find these things anywhere that sells ethnic Asian, you know, foods and stuff like that, and they'll expand too. So I'm not going to put much more than that in there. But yeah, it's really, really good stuff. So really good for the nervous system as well. And it has, they used to use it in a soup specifically with, for colds and flus and stuff like that. because it's so healing to the lung. And I took my herbal training back in 1990, so I don't know, long time ago, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, something like that. And we called it lung fungus back then. And so so that's what I'm used to calling it, but that makes it sound kind of funny. But anyways, it's super good, so it'll come through in here. Okay, we're gonna add a few spices, and then we're gonna move on to something else. We'll see how much time we have. I'm so busy chattering away in here with all these different things. I'm going to add turmeric because I love to, because we don't care if it turns orange, and the turmeric has such beautiful anti-inflammatory properties, really good for pain, inflammation because of the curcumin. And of course, whenever you're adding turmeric, you want to add black pepper because the black pepper helps to activate the turmeric. Hi everybody, Jane, Darlene, Monique, it's so nice to see everybody here. So much fun to hang out with you guys on a beautiful Wednesday. It was sunny out there. I think it is going to be again. Okay, I'm adding a little bit of Celtic sea salt to this as well. And I do always like things spicy. So cayenne, which is super good for the circulation, good for the heart, good for cholesterol, good for blood pressure, especially blood pressure. Cayenne is amazing for blood pressure. The other thing I wanted to do is just a hint of molasses in this because it's black bean, and I just want to give it a little hint of molasses so that it can have a richer, deeper flavor. And those seaweeds are also carry a little bit of salt. Okay, so I'm not going to add too much because I don't want it to taste too much like molasses beans, but I am going to add like a level tablespoon, yes. And yeah, so because it's gonna pull all of the flavors of the seaweeds, and we have the garlic, we have the onions, and you know what? I am still going to add a little bit more garlic. This is granulated garlic, and so there's no salt in it, it's just granulated garlic, so I'm going to add that as well. And then you can add whatever you want. If you want to, I'm just waiting for the molasses to get off my spoon. Tell that molasses to get off my spoon. Okay, so you know what I should do? I should put a few of these tops in there too for additional color, flavor, and nutrition. Well, let's get some of these guys in here. So you can flavor this. If you wanted to add more flavor, you can add a veggie stock to it. I really want to get the flavor of the seaweeds. Like, there's a good chance you guys don't have all this stuff at all. So if you don't have your seaweeds and you don't have your Chinese snow fungus, or you don't have all of that stuff, then you may want to add a little bit of chicken stock to it. But I really want to get the pure flavors of all the foods, and the mushrooms are just, oh my God, they just add so many fantastic things. For the people that just joined us, we put in oyster mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, or no, we didn't do shiitake. We did oyster mushrooms, we did maitake mushrooms, and lobster mushrooms, which have a just a hint almost of a lobster seafoody flavor. And oyster mushrooms. Did I say that already? Okay, let's add a couple of shiitakes because they're so good for the immune system as well. These guys are also, if I can open that, these are dried ones. They're also antiviral. They're really good for the immune system, in as far as I don't want to say it because it doesn't look like it's true. They're good for anti-aging. That's what they say. And obviously I haven't eaten enough of them. But anyways, yeah, so they say anti-aging too. I do love the shiitakes. They have a really, really great chewy flavor too. A chewy flavor. They have a chewy flavor. They have a earthy, almost teriyaki-ish flavor. And I don't put the stems in because I find the stems are really chewy and to the point where I'm just not crazy about them. So I save the stems, put them in tea or hot water or whatever. Anyway, so there we go. So I'm just gonna, I've turned this off. I'm gonna leave this because what I will do is just leave it on low for it to thicken up and grab all those different flavors. And the other thing you could add to this if you want to, a good idea would be miso. If you don't have all the variety of the different mushrooms and seaweeds and things that I've added, you could add miso, which is super good for you. It's a fermented soybean, awesome. Or or chicken, whatever, chicken stock. Yeah, whatever kind of veggie stock or whatever you want to add to it. But I'm just going to leave that like that because I have such a variety of immune system ingredients. So what we're going to do here, we're going to quickly do the second thing super fast because we're running out of time. So the bok choy. So yes, so the whole idea was to tell you guys that this is really good, very, very inexpensive to use in the middle of winter when lettuce prices are high and or there's been some kind of E. coli recall or something like that going on. This is like super inexpensive and good for you. So the bok choy is any of your dark leafy greens, right? So you can use this instead of lettuce. And the beauty of it is, I have such a tiny little workspace here. The beauty of it is that it's not tough like kale, right? So I love the kale and the collards and all that stuff. But this is very soft. So if you find that, you have to massage your kale or cut it up fine or whatever, and it is, kale has a tougher cellular structure. This stuff is very delightful and light to eat. And I just thought everybody used this for salads. I didn't even ever think of cooking with it until somebody was here, a couple of years ago and said, you're putting bok choy in your salad. And I said, well, I do that, especially in the winter when there isn't a whole lot else. And I just had never really cooked with it. So apparently I'm doing it backwards. Most people cook this, make whatever, Chinese food or whatever soups and dishes and stuff like that with it. And I've been using it for lettuce, which I didn't, it was green, it was cheap, and dark leafy green. So that's what this is all about, is just sharing, just use it instead of lettuce or spinach or kale or whatever it is. And you can put, I did put some of the white in there. You can chop up the whole stem if you want and put it in your salad. And actually, speaking of that, if you do that, it gives such a nice crunch, just like celery, right? And in the middle of winter, celery can be really super pricey as well. So you can just add these stems for your crunch. And you can add them to your soups. You can do so many things with them, and they are usually super inexpensive. So just throw those in there. The other thing I was going to do here, which I actually threw my, well, I didn't throw it. I dropped it. I dropped it on the floor. I bought these beautiful beets, and I wanted to shred them on the salad, and I dropped my grater on the floor. So let me just go and grab a different grater. I do have two, thankfully. And, okay. So, the second grater, I should have a couple here because I do tend to drop things on the floor a lot in this little tiny space. So just the beets, these are the ones, actually I should cut it and show you. I know we're running out of time here. But I need to make my salad, and if you guys have the time, you might as well watch me. Okay, watch my fingers. See how pretty? These are gorgeous. So you could do a couple different things. You could try and cut them really, really thin and put them on the salad, which will look really cool as well. If you wanted to, you can use any kind of, I don't want that too thick. any kind of food processor instead of struggling with it like I am right now. You can do all kinds of things with these super cool beets that I just got. And like I was saying, I got them at Quality Foods today, and fingers out of the way, and they're only $1.29 a pound, so that was just super awesome. So yeah, so you can do this, or you can grate them, which was my next plan, but I just wanted to show you guys a couple different ways of doing it. If you want to, the other thing you can do is you can, which I didn't bring it out, but you could take the mandolin, use the finger guard with the mandolin, use the mandolin, do really thin, super thin slices too. Whatever it is that you want to do, I'm just going to set that there and just kind of, you know, you play with it. Like we said the other day, yesterday, was it yesterday? That when you're working with food and you're trying to make it pretty or presentable, it's almost like a meditation where you get you know, kind of like really enjoying the beauty of making it super pretty, and just kind of focusing on, you just kind of are working with the food, right? You go into a bit of a meditation, and it's really quite peaceful. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little of this too. It doesn't really do a whole lot for the gorgeous design, but this is just to give you ideas of what to do with your bok choy and with your beets. And so kind of lose some of the beauty in there. But anyway, I'm just showing you things. People ask me how I get so creative with the salad, and it's like, it's almost like making a piece of art or creating a piece of art. So you're going to take your, whatever your greens are. In this case, we have bok choy, and we can put this in, the little beets. You can shred up your carrots and put it in here, your celery, your tomatoes, whatever it is you want. I can't really put tomatoes in here because of the reasons I discussed earlier. So this is awesome. This is the wild brine kimchi. They have a Japanese kimchi, and they have a, this is the Korean one. And I'm just going to move this so I can show you guys my little space here. So you would take some of this out. Now this is a natural ferment, right? So if you don't have time to make your own sauerkraut or ferment your own anything, this stuff is naturally fermented, and you can add this to your salad to get your probiotics, like your probiotics in a fermented form. So I just take a little bit of this, and I just, you know, go like that, because this is quite spicy and hot, which of course you guys know, if you've watched me before, you know I love heat. And so you can just take some of that, and you probably wouldn't take that much if you don't like heat, just take a little. But I chop it down a little bit more because I don't like the big chunks. They have the bigger pieces of whatever the vegetables are. And take that and put that in the salad. So you're getting your probiotics. And of course you can do this if you are making your own fermented sauerkraut and or whatever you're fermenting, stick it in your salad. So we're going to do that, and then you can do, I mean, oh my gosh, you can add so many things to your salad. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to try and get the colors blended here, and you can see where this would be. Oh, it's so pretty. You know, it needs a little red here, a little pink there, you know, tomato here, whatever you want there. And then we can just kind of take the little pieces and put them, I didn't cut that very well, but anyways, you can get critical too, and arrange and rearrange and try to make it as beautiful as possible. And so this has got the spice in it from the beautiful wild brine kimchi, and has the beets in it too. So it's a pretty simple salad, but like I say, you can add whatever you want. You could add pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, You can add tomatoes, celery, gosh, anything, broccoli, cauliflower, whatever you want. So basically this was just to show how to make a salad with bok choy, because that's what I was asked was how do you work with bok choy, and also to help you guys to save money in the winter. So I would throw the rest of this stuff in, but anyways, you can see it looks really, really pretty. And you can use the salad dressing because it has the spice from the kimchi. You can use the salad dressing that we did last week, like the basic salad dressing with the garlic, onions, and everything. It just really brings it down because it has the sweetness in it too. If you want to bring the heat down a bit, you can also pour some maple syrup into this too with your salad dressing, whatever you choose, and that'll calm it down. But you're getting the benefits of the probiotics in it. So there you go. That's it. I am so over time. So thanks you guys for hanging out. We will see you tomorrow morning. Check out my Instagram, YouTube, and share and subscribe and all that stuff. And thank you for hanging out. Oh, perfect. Yes, that's awesome. Okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 11. Thanks for hanging out. And message me for any ideas on what you want me to share or cook.